What are your own expectations this morning? We understand the finance minister is going to be big on reviewing VAT, major tax reforms. What are your own readings?
Well, so that is what we're expecting. We hope that that review of VAT does not translate into tax burden for the good people of Ghana, because definitely it is something that the good people of Ghana will not accept. I also expect that government will have to introduce more members that will put money into the pockets of people. Definitely. The fiscal consolidation and monetary tightening has made it so difficult for the good people of Ghana, the ordinary Ghanaian, to afford certain goods. Even though inflation is coming down or has come down, the money to buy, even at the relatively lower prices, is not there for them to buy. And I think that government will have to, much more so, government will have to look at how do they create jobs. Because you see, the private sector cannot be the vehicle for the absorption of the large number of graduates which will churn out from the universities. Yes, so that's what I'm saying, that the private sector, how is the government going to be the engine or a vehicle or a stimuli for the private sector to be able to take on the burden? So government will have to see what incentives are in the budget for the people of Ghana and businesses to thrive. Again, we expect government to see how they are going to address arrears, because contractors have done work over the previous years, they are not paid. What is the plan of action for the government? Because once contractors are paid, it's able to improve the whole health of the economy, because there's a multiplier effect of how money is in the hands of contractors, because you pay service providers and all what have you. So that is what we expect, and anything short of that, we expect that the government should do away with the COVID-19 leaving, because there's no reason why, in their own words, they made a promise about in the 2024 campaign, and they have kept on saying that there's no reason why it should still be in our tax laws. So our expectation is that they will remove the COVID-19 leave as well.
If they do all of this, then the people like them. So that is bad news for the NPP.
Well, the ability of a government to come to power is not just what the government is doing well, but the alternative. If I give you water, and the water is actually, if you are being, but the water is not purified, and I come to purify the water for you, you like me than the one who is just giving you water. So that will even put the NPP in a much more challenging situation to be able to think outside of the box. So we expect government, the whole essence of government is to make the lives of people better. We don't hope the NDC fails because we want to come to power. But if they succeed, it will force us to raise the bar, and the good people of Ghana will enjoy at the end of the day.
The last one before you go. Just if the speaker comes in, the Chief Justice nominee is going to come. Your side walked out of the process the last time. There's going to be a big debate. Where is your head as in the minority?
Our position is clear. The legitimacy of the Chief Justice cannot be, rectified by this particular house. There is an issue pending before the court, the determination of which is not within Parliament to decide. Parliament cannot be seen to be doing something that will prejudice the pending issue before court. So once the minority raise that particular point, that is the position we will take. If the majority decides to, go on with the vote and the vote is carried, we will know that definitely that history, that precedent that has been set before this House did not involve the minority members of the House in that decision taken.
Thank you very much. Dr. Abdul Kabir Mahama is let's try and see if we can talk to Honorable Frank Efriye of Afajato to get some very brief understanding. I called you a moment ago. I think you were reading some documents. What are your own expectations given that the presentation is just about to happen? Well, the minority say things are going well, but it's because the IMF is supporting the economy here and there. What are your own reading of all that's going on with the economy?
No, I think that the greatest verdict is with the people of Ghana. The management of this economy, even under IMF, is a matter of public records. And so the IMF was with the MPP regime, and yet we all saw the indicators, the volatilities, the instabilities, and of course, if you talk about the exchange rates, the inflations and everything, they were all skyrocketing and going in the wrong direction. Today, it takes a lot of fiscal discipline, a lot of discipline in other sectors in order to ensure that we invest and put our money where our mouth lies. And so it's not just about having the IMF as headmaster in the office. That's why the NDC government is performing. It is through prudent management by a competent team. And of course, we really want to prove to the Ghanaian that when we say we'll do it, we are ready to walk the talk. Share sacrifice. The ruling class must be able to sacrifice much as the ordinary Ghanaian sacrifices so that we fix the system for the good of all of us.
I mean, your constituents will be watching. What are your own expectations in the budget? You've asked a couple of questions sometimes about your roads, about water infrastructure, all the things that are very important to the Ghanaian people. One of the things the minority have kept saying is that the finance minister is not releasing money, and so projects are not moving as much of it. Generally, what are your own expectations of the finance minister presenting this budget in terms of translating to development to the priority of the people of Ghana and for Afadja South constituents?
Now, Kuku, already, out there, the verdict is clear. See, our people concede when we are together in private meetings. If you take a municipality like Oforikrom, I'm a member of the Local Government and Rural Development Committee. The last time we sat and invited them, the whole of last year, that is 2024, the common fund that was released by the MPP government was 1 million. Indeed, already the two tranches that they had was 11 million. Look at the difference between 1 million and 11 million. And the year hasn't ended. The third tranche is just about being released to them. And so these monies are tied to specific projects such as water provision of health infrastructure, education infrastructure, the very things that make life very okay for almost all of us, particularly the ordinary person. I am particularly excited because I represent a highly, highly marginalized constituency. My place is agrarian, it's not developed. We are seeking to make judicious use of the available resources. And so today, as the physicals are quite stable, I am expecting that there will be more sustainable measures that will be outlined so that the very foundation that His Excellency's regime has laid will translate into what? Enjoyable fruit for my people to enjoy.
Thank you very much. Honorable Frank Efree is MP for Afadja South, talking to me about what his own expectations are. We'll get a couple more MPs to come and join us here because this is a very important budget. And as you hear, the NDC already talking about, MPP I should say, already talking about what they say is IMF-supported budget. The idea that the economy is stable because there's an IMF program. But Frank Efree disagrees. He says it's not because there's some headmaster in the room that is supervising and that is why things are going. It's because Dr. Kessel Atoforsen and the John Dramani Mahama government are actually taking real, bold economic steps that are changing the fortunes of the ordinary people of Ghana. And they expect that is going to continue ultimately and improve the lot of Ghanaians. But this is also a very big budget because this is the second budget. The first is usually because the government wants to stabilize things. They've just inherited whether mess or greatness from a previous government, and they are trying to put their signature on the economy. And so some of those things are much expected. Dr. Kessel Atoforsen in the 2025 budget laid out what he thought was going to be the premise and the most important aspects of the government. That is why we got to hear about the big push and all the big money that they are going to put in that. Already the president has been going around the country cutting sword for certain important projects to happen. And all of that has been done. 2026 is for the government to stamp its feet on the economy and give us a blueprint of what the economic potential and what the economic strategy is going to be. And so we'll get some understanding of that when we speak to more and more people who are coming in and giving us an understanding of what they expect of Dr. Kessel Atoforsen, who has been in the finance ministry prior to being the finance minister when John Dramani Mahama first became president. He was a deputy finance minister under Setekwe. And so a couple of all those things have been done. Let's just take you some of the scenes there. Let's get some of the MPs to come in here, get us an understanding of what their own expectations will be for the 2026 budget that is going to be presented any moment from now by the finance minister. In fact, 2 p.m. is the time. And so we have the former deputy finance minister, Dr. Stephen Amoah. You've been there. You've been at the finance ministry. You were supervising the IMF deal that ultimately the current government has taken over from. All right. So you look at all of this. There are those who say that Dr. Kessel Atoforsen and the NDC are doing some magic. And that's why inflation is going down. We are in single digits now. The city is doing well. Do you accept that, or you say that, listen, it's because of the fundamentals you left at the Finance Ministry?
Thank you for this opportunity. Honestly speaking, the economy is doing well, but the NDC government and its whole executive body or whatever you are talking, they've done virtually nothing about the economy. Honestly speaking, they've not done anything. What have they done?
What could be the argument?
No.
We look at the inflows of the economy.
They are not underperforming their benchmark. They are still in a very preparatory stage or embryonic stage. They are still in their embryonic stage. What have they done? They came to meet a well-restored economy. You remember Atufosin was a doctor, and he actually stated emphatically all the primary macro indicators. In fact, even our GDP was growing 5.7, higher than 2016. Primary balance, you remember, inflation had been reduced from 54.1 to about 20. Exchange rate about 54 to about 16. So the economy had already been doing so much well. You can't use just 6 months to just turn things like that. Are you aware that before we left power, we had gotten about $600 million in our coffers as a country because of the syndication that we domesticated. By January, we had gotten over $1 billion. So the NDC government, they've done virtually nothing about what we are experiencing.
The finance minister is tightening spending, control. Monies are not being released for what they call frivolous expenditure.
Which one is not frivolous?
Well, they say they are investing in the right places. The roads. The president has cut road for the express road Accra Kumasi. There's a wire.
If it cuts off,
yes.
the economy becomes.
They released more than 800 million cedi for the Fankor road to be done.
800 million.
Yes.
And that can impact our economy.
No, they say that some of those is frugal spending.
Let me explain to you. Right. The budgetary expenditure has two broad arms. Discretionary expenditure, and then statutory. Statutory, you deal with common fund, GEF fund, and co. That one, the government has nothing to do about it. It's an obligation. But when it comes to discretionary, the NDC government has not done virtually anything. It's not that they are not doing well, no. But they are still kind of even vetting most of the contracts. How many contractors have they paid? Ask yourself. They've not even paid 5% of the contractors the government owe. So what are they talking about? I am not saying they are not doing well or they are doing well, but they should be honest and open enough to tell Ghanaians that last quarter 2024, the MPP government had been able to restore the economy to the extent that we are benefiting from that. It's a process. It's just like, sorry to say, pregnancy. Somebody can impregnate another person. The fact that if you marry the person gives birth, it doesn't mean that the person is your child. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
That's how you need a DNA to confirm.
100%. You need that thing to check whether it is true or not. But what I'm trying to say is that the NDC government, they have not done anything wrong or bad. What we are experiencing today is as a result of the prudent economic management of the previous administration. And here in the house here, please, I know your outfit is one of the best even in Africa. Go and get the last budget statement that Atufosin presented here. Open the primary macro indicators. Check how the economy was performing and find out whether the NDC government, they've added even 1 or 2 to it. No. The primary balance, the reserve.
The reserve has been going up because of gold purchases and all of that.
Check the difference. I won't say they've not done anything at all, but the performance of the economy today has got virtually nothing. Virtually nothing. That is a fact.
So what are your own expectations? We know the finance minister is going to be big on tax reforms, the VAT reforms, the COVID-19 levy that they promised to take away. They are going to do that. That is the indication we are getting. Do you get the same sense, and what do you expect in the minority?
Thank you very much. I'm expecting that, one, today they will present a budget that will be able to deal with the ritual difficulties that are confronting our fiscal space, i.e. our debt sustainability management, our inability to generate the needed revenue to deal away with the deficit that as a country we are going on, the unemployment issues. So if they are going to really take away taxes, I'm expecting them to assure us an alternative, because we are running negative effective tax rate economy. And what I mean is that the amount of money we generate domestically is always far less than the amount that we expend. And if you want to take away taxes, that's fine. But give us an assurance that the fiscal space that we as a country has been actually confronted with debt issues. You have alternative to place this country's economy in a position that would deal with that sustainable debt expectation or goal or challenges that we are having. Two, the revenue we are going to generate will be enough not to put any burden on us to depend on loans or debt financing. And three, you can provide the needed economic resilience. It's very key, and stability and growth that will assure us as a country to be economically independent. This is what I want. Don't come and make any